excuses are better than your excuses.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's up?
So the good news is I got the menu like infrastructure up. For the last 2 weeks, I said I was going to wire up a user account so that they can register payment methods and stuff like that. And I'm still doing that. The I had to the excuses I have several excuses. I had to learn and then decide between two strategies of leveraging Xamarin Forms Shell, which is a new feature that just uh, went from beta or alpha to like 4.0 in Xamarin Forms, or continue using their legacy just support for menus via the master detail page. I know all this kind of sounds like jargon right now, but I had to mess around with both of them and figure out why certain things don't work and mess around and just go down a little rabbit hole. The other part is my girl's in town for the next 2 weeks. And so I've been trying to make time for her. And I volunteered for half a day yesterday at the Black Girls Code um, at a middle school yesterday.
Good.
It's a lame excuse, but I use that for points.
Your audio keeps kind of going up and in and out, or weird. I'm also hearing some feedback too. Not so much in and out, but like up and down. But
you hear me better now?
Yeah, a lot better.
So I need to start over again?
No, I got it all. Yeah.
Okay. So I could do a very quick demo of the menu stuff that I have.
Sure.
So it's I think I'm going to go on Fiverr. Are you familiar with Fiverr?
Yep.
And I think I need to pay somebody to take icons that I think would work, but make them look like they're part of the app. So, for example, like this search icon, I have several icons. Well, I was trying to do this in GIMP, and I just suck at it, man. Like, I just accept the fact that I suck. But like, take these concepts, but make it look nice or presentable, right? All these different icons here. This is my attempt of trying to take icons that were naturally outlined in black and try to fill them in white, and it just gets butchered. And I don't know how to use these Photoshop software applications. So, do you know what? Have you ever used Fiverr for like any services or UX design stuff?
No, I used it once. Went back when I had my podcast. I kind of requested a like a podcast cover to get made, and they did, and I was hoping to get it fast, and they didn't deliver it right away because they had the weekend off or something like that. So I ended up doing it myself and getting a refund on that. And then I paid someone to make like some logos because I had that. You refund on Fiverr, you just get it back in your Fiverr account. You don't get the money back. So I ended up putting that towards someone making a logo, and they just kind of spun out some pretty, standard logos, nothing special. So, so I haven't used it much, but it seems like an okay service.
Yeah, I mean, I spent like $400 when I was doing the Nikeza thing on that logo. I used 99 Designs, and I mean, I was happy with the logo after several iterations. It's just kind of expensive for something. I don't know. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why you would. So the icons, though, Did you check out some of those icon fonts or anything like that?
Did I check out the icon fonts?
Yeah, that I suggested last week, like Font
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah, I have that saved on my text file.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I mean, I found some when I just Google free icons. Where's yours at? Hold up. The feedback? No, that's something different. I saved your. Yeah, you said Font Awesome, Material Icons, Inkscape. I didn't look at them yet. I just assumed that they were all the same, meaning that the majority of this is what I'm looking for, right? Is icons that are outlined and that are outlined in white instead of like black, and that have a transparent background.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Font Awesome. It's a font, so you can get that. If you want the outline though, that you would have to adjust the path on, or add an outline and adjust the path on it. That's a little more tricky, but Inkscape you can do that with ease. I'm not sure Font Awesome's normal license allows you to modify them though, but uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the if you want them outlined in. Well, do you mean outlined in white and white?
Well, okay. So to your point, just the homepage of Font Awesome has these items outlined in white. Okay.
Yeah, they're monochromatic, so you can adjust the coloring on them to whatever the heck you want. If you get fonts, obviously you can if you use it as a font, you can actually just get do font.color and you'll get white, or if you want it blue, you get font color blue and you're good to go. But if you also, they have the SVG files available as well. And I'm not, again, I'd have to look at the license. The license is actually not too bad either, but if you go into there, like you can get the SVG version of it, and then if you put that into Inkscape, you could easily. Inkscape's a little weird to use if you're used to using like GIMP, which is a bitmap editor. Like you edit pixels. Inkscape's like an SVG editor, or it's a vector editor. So you so what you do is you actually edit nodes, and you describe how the thing is drawn, not necessarily the actually drawing it. So yeah, I was looking at food. There's the good ones are in their premium whatever. And they have a hamburger and utensils, pizza slice, egg, bread slice for food.
So I could figure out without digging too deep how to get the white outlines that I want. Or hold on, you just said everything is SVG. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if like I said, if you import it as a font, it's like typing the letter A, right? Well,
You keep saying font. You mean like Unicode?
like I believe it's like an actual like a TTF font. Like,
Okay.
of course, I've never used it outside of its CSS, so I guess I've never really just downloaded it as a font before. But
Okay.
I don't know. It's
into it.
yeah, but those SVG ones, like, let me see here if I can. The
freak, this isn't. They need to work on their search. Oh, because it's ending. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So if you use them, you have to do attribution unless you get a license for them or buy a paid plan. Then attribution goes away. That's the licensing requirement, and it's $100 a year for for it, which is kind of lame, but attribution's not bad. So you just have to put it in like a whatever.
So it's just a subscription model, and you get everything you want, versus just buying individual icons.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can share on here or not. I could show you how to do that in Inkscape in like 5 seconds. But yeah, so it's a yearly subscription for all of their font ones. But if they have the ones that I guess you have a professional license to use it, apparently. So, but if you modify it and use any of the free ones, you just have to attribute them. I'm guessing in like a about page or something like that. You put like Fontos, and then you just describe any modifications you made, and you're good to go. I think. I don't know. That's probably reasonable for attribution purposes, but
Okay. And I could do all this through their web platform, like, because my biggest issue is I keep having to take stuff off the internet and then attempt to Photoshop it, and it just looks bad. And my fear is I'll end up purchasing a subscription to this, and I still have to change it to the color or outline that I want using a Photoshop like app, and it's just going to defeat the whole purpose, and it's going to look bad too.
Yeah, well, SVG files themselves are like they're essentially HTML, and I'm not sure what the support is on XAML. There's apparently a way to convert from SVG to XAML.
Yeah,
But I mean,
coordinates and numbers. I mean, it's doable. I'd just rather use it to just convert the SVG to a PNG.
Yeah, here, let me. I wonder if I can share real quick.
All right.
So I can show you how to use in Inkscape. You can do it in like really simply. Let me see if I got. Is that sharing?
Yeah. No, I stopped sharing.
Oh, I think I'm sharing now. So you can.
Shoot. Okay.
I'll cover that up. So you see this. So here's the utensils one from Font Awesome. So if you download the SVG, here's the licensing requirement for it. You just download it. And I've got this tool called Inkscape over here. And it's, like I said, it's a vector editor. So I just drop the SVG in here. And now it's like, well, you want it green? Okay, there's green. And then like if you want it to be, black or let's say blue outlined, set stroke to blue, and then be like, I really want it like a really dense outline. I don't know, that's really ugly, but just to prove the point, like, and then you can take it and be like, all right, export to PNG, selection, and let me put it on my desktop here. Desktop, save, export. And there's my PNG version of it.
Okay.
So it's with SVG files, it's like it's way easier to do than dealing with actually bit images, because like I said, it's scalable. So like you want it to be this big, and you can export it as, this is huge, right? Or you can export it as really tiny. Like I said, it's really like it takes a couple of minutes to get used to the UI, but
You said the editor is Inkscape?
yeah, and it's just
Okay.
it's a free download and install and everything. So
Okay.
but yeah, that's pretty, like, if you were messing around with GIMP or whatever, you'd have to try to, it wouldn't be nearly as fluid. This gives you a lot of options, but those 4 operations do everything I think that you'd want it to do with it. So
All right. Thanks for sharing.
yeah. How do I stop sharing? I've never actually screen shared on this before, I don't think.
You haven't?
Oh, there we go. All right, cool. I'm not sharing anymore, right? Yeah, okay.
Did you make any progress?
So I did put some time into building out some tooling, which is basically just modifying some open source software to add a file watcher to do some things like that. But otherwise, man, I've just been kind of flailing. Like I did tinker around with the jumping and shrinking mechanic, and it's not, I'm not seeing what I wanted to see in it. So I don't really know if that's going to work out all that well. I don't know. I'm kind of flailing. I don't know if I should just go back and work on my box thing again and just say, hey, that was a nice sentiment to cheat on that idea for a while, but really I should get back at it, or if I should just keep, iterate to something, another game, and just keep going down that track. Because I don't know. I admire your ability to just to hold on to one idea and stick with it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, no. As long as I'm making what I believe is progress, it kind of encourages me to keep going.
Well, you've got a vision too for what it is, and that's the thing that maybe,
Well,
I don't know.
my vision got destroyed because I had the audacity to talk to random strangers at Starbucks that I see are programming, and I pick conversations with them, and then lo and behold, they show me, oh, that exists already. So apparently there's some app called Tackle, I think it's TAKL, that is like the vision that I wanted of having an app that's a search directory for various, that caters to the gig economy, meaning
Mhm.
that there's an app called Tackle that when you launch, you select the type of service that you want, whether it's a handyman to come fix things or some audio video things like hanging a TV, or just things that require people coming to you or going to a location, handling that service, and then billing you or automatically deducting payment. And it's out there already. Are they successful? No, I'm not sure. I never heard of them. But then again, I don't watch TV. I asked the guy, well, how did you figure out, how did you learn about this app? He's like, oh, I saw a commercial. I don't really watch TV, so I don't know if I still want to try to solve a problem that someone has solved already, unless the problem is, well, bring it to higher visibility and maybe start with a service that is well done and people know about, and then expand your services, kind of like Amazon did, which is still mind-boggling how Amazon went from an online bookstore to AWS to Amazon Prime to a movie studio to, like, I don't think I could duplicate that type of like evolution. But anyway, so my vision has been compromised. I'm just going to try to finish the app by August 1st. That's it. I like pushing out the deadline.
The I mean, just because they did it, well, that means there's a market for it, right? Um, like all of these like podcasts and things I've listened to about entrepreneurship, they almost all have the consistent message about when you find out somebody's doing your idea, and they say it's a good thing. It's because that means there is a market for it, and there's a market to steal. But I mean, is somebody solving the specific problem that you were talking about, which originally, not your grand vision, but the original, the core thing of your app, which was you're on the beach and you want food and you don't want to have to go get it.
No, that's still pretty unique.
Yeah. So I mean, if you focus on that and just focus on the one place you are and see if you can get that working. I mean, you might be able to expand into something that you don't even think about.
When I downloaded did I download the app? I think I just looked at the screenshots in the video, and then I looked at the user reviews, and the app looks like the app is a professional app. Like, I know they spent money building that app. Is that polished, right? But obviously, with every app, people that I would argue probably 2/3 of the people, if not more, that take time to review the app are generally they have issues with it. And so the majority of people that gave 1-star reviews, can you guess what the general reason for an app that provides services based on location, why people would give it bad reviews?
It's not in my area.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they would try to launch the app and go through the workflow of the app is composed of or partitioned into two like roles. One is the consumer or the like requester, and I use the word requester, and the other one is the provider. And so the provider is like the handyman or the whatever person rendering the service. And so both roles would they would download the app and attempt to register their profile. And then when they would ask for a service or ask for clients that would need help, it would just be empty, and they would get frustrated and then give it a 1-star, which I don't think is right. It's not the app, but maybe the app could have done something to let them know up front as soon as the app identified their location before they even filled out any forms. Like, they download the app, permission to get location of the user, permission granted. Oh, we don't really provide services in your area. We thought this would be helpful before you fill out any more forms detailing how awesome you are at whatever you would like to do. So, I mean, I guess I could learn from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another strategy is that you could make it very, very, like the initial app, very, very, very focused on one particular market such that they can't be confused with other ones. Miami beach delivery app.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like sitting in Minnesota going, why can't I get this on my boat? It's because it's in Miami. It's not here.
So, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think but then that means that if the app is being used and it shows growth opportunities, then I have to register a whole bunch of other app names in which I swap out the city. And then I guess the backend can handle it. What is it called? Multi-tenant? I don't know what that crap is.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you're not aware of if your app is going to actually be used, it makes sense. But then, like, I think there's scaling issues when you have something that's, I think, because I'm not successful with it, right? But I would think that you have scaling issues if you have something that's specific, because now you are literally deploying. Google may not be well, the issue is you're deploying several updates for every single app, right? Um, you have to deploy for every single app that's registered in the store, even if it's one code base, you still have to update it for every single app. So, beach delivery Miami, beach delivery Fort Lauderdale, beach delivery Venice Beach, beach delivery, I don't know, whatever beaches are in New York or whatever. Like that is a nightmare. And so then you have to figure out how to. You're going to lose all your ratings, and then you got to spam your current users to use a general app now that people know what it is, and for them to use that versus them using just a app that has a name that's misleading, hence for their specific location. I'm thinking way into it, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the back end and the delivery app person, right? That could probably be generalized a bit more, but um, finding the people to do that in the first place is going to be a little bit tricky. But I'm sure you could try to just coax some people into it. But I mean, you could. I don't necessarily think you have to go down that road. You could prove that Miami works and that you can get it working and bootstrap it there and try to get that to some degree of profitability.
yeah,
Even if you're making just $1 in profit. And then, you don't have to necessarily go, now I have to make the Fort Lauderdale one and the Galveston one and I don't know, New Orleans, wherever, whatever. You just then make the general one after that. But yeah, I mean, they could probably do a better job at advertising up front in the app that it's just not available in your area.
or hold up, or you could, if you go with the different locations, starting small. Who's to say that when they launch the app, you migrate them by prompting them to download the new app and you just transfer their information? I mean,
Yeah,
they launch the app, they immediately get prompted to download the new app. They just hit download, installs, the new app is launched, their information is carried over.
yeah, same app, different name.
Now you have a general app name that's non-location specific in the case that your app starts becoming successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you lose the reviews, but if you get bad ones to start, you may want that, right?
Oh, you can. I wonder if it's against App Store policy if it's wrong to give them a discount in exchange for a review.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Isn't that what people do on Amazon? They give
Oh
away free
yeah,
product to get reviews to show up on the first page.
yeah, or they just buy them
I
outright.
don't I don't think that's allowed anymore.
Yeah, people still do it, but it's definitely sketchy and yeah. It's funny when you're looking at a review for something and you get comments for like, wow, this is the greatest coffee maker, and you're looking at, like I don't know, a spork or something. It's like, what the hell is this?
What are you talking about for the profile then? Oh, hold up. What you talking about?
On Amazon, I've seen like it where I'm looking at a product and the reviews are basically for a completely different product.
Oh,
Somebody just clicked the link and said something nice and then just left. But non-verified purchases.
mm. So, like last week, you sounded like you were focused on building this game, and now it sounds like you're questioning how you spend your time. If you should really spend your time on this game now.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at, and it's maybe just one of these things where I have ever pivoted away from my original idea. I'm starting to think
I
that
think your original idea isn't scalable.
yeah,
If it were to be successful, I think that it. I think it would be hard to scale and hard to. I mean, this is my personal opinion, right? I could be wrong. I just feel like it's very labor intensive versus automation friendly.
yeah, certainly, um, certainly is. The cost of goods is pretty bad too, um, in small quantities and stuff like that, unless you get them broader. But
But
yeah,
I mean, does it have to be? Do you really have to isolate it to video games, or can you provide a solution to just provide packaging solutions? Period.
yeah.
Or does China already have that on lock?
Oh no, that stuff is already the only reason this makes sense is because it's people are doing enough things like it that 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 I think there's a market, but there's but there's not some it's not like dominated by a bunch of other players. The closest thing right now is like there's a couple board game services that do similar things. They don't deal with any electronic media though, which is maybe a different part. I just saw something this last week. Let me really quick look up something. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody just did. Here we go. Copy link to tweet. Or I'll just send this to you as direct message. So there's this game called Low Mem Sky, which was what's called a demake game, which is basically like they take a AAA or a really big popular game and make a really small, simpler version of it. So this guy made one of No Man's Sky called Low Mem Sky, but he actually was putting together physical copies of that thing, just really tiny on SD cards with a small little wrapper around the edges of it, to ship out to people. So I keep getting this anecdotal evidence that people actually want to make physical copies of their things. But yeah, how to scale it up, the cost and then the labor intensiveness of it, and finding people that are willing to design those things, if it's available. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
You remember when you were a kid and maybe they still have it. I don't know. I don't play video games as much as I used to. But they used to sell like booklets that would detail how to get through certain levels.
Yeah.
They still do that?
Yep. Yeah, player's guides.
Yeah, player's guides.
Yep.
That is that anywhere related or can be associated as an additional service?
Yeah. I mean, the places that I'd want to go with that original idea is start with just a box and manual and some sort of media, but basically I would want to expand into any sort of physical product for a video game print on demand type thing. that could include that. It could include people put together what are called zines, which are, I assume, just magazines. I don't know why they get rid of the MAGA part, but I don't know. That's like an old term, but people print these zines and send them out. So like, and that's normal print shop stuff. Like you could just go to a print shop and get that done. But if someone were to become the authority, and if you need something printed for a independent hobby, indie or hobby game thing, there's a lot of options I could do there. You could spool it off into a box service. There were some of those that did that. Like a monthly subscription box thing. There was one that did that exact thing, and they ended up getting away from the monthly box model. I'm not sure why. If it was just too expensive or what, but there's that direction I could go with it.
When's the next trade show?
Probably. I'm guessing for something like this would probably be PAX, maybe.
How expensive is that?
This would be more, probably GDC would have been better, which it was like, I think maybe a couple months ago. I don't know. I haven't really kept up on the trade shows very, very much in the game. I know of a few of them, but a lot of them are specifically for people showing off games, not necessarily provided to game developers, or whatever, except for Game Developer Conference, which I said was a few weeks ago. And
that's focused on indie games, right? Not the heavy hitter commercial developers.
Yeah, well, GDC is a mix of people. Okay. But yeah, it is a lot of hobbyist people will go to it, and indie people go to it. So it's just anybody wanting to make a game. So that would be if I were to actually prove out this idea, that would probably be a decent thing to have a booth at. And I think the people that are kind of in this space, at least tangentially, do have booths at those things. So. But maybe I'm looking at this thing all wrong too, as far as, maybe the idea isn't scalable, but kind of to your point, working on something that just keeps the skills going and trying new things and stuff like that. Deliberate practice outside of work. Maybe there's some benefit there, like just getting the website up, and like I've been meaning to do, and getting the uploads and putting together the process to do all of this. Maybe that even could lead to something else. I don't know.
It could, but the difference between you and I is like you actually have a family, and so like you. My thought process is like, and this is real talk, don't sacrifice your time away from your children, and I don't know, I assume you're married, but don't take time away from your family if it's not a hell yeah, right? So like, you're always going to have, because you do web development, you'll always have work lined up, and you're always going to be probably more likely above the 80th percentile of what's out there, right? So if you're not confident, if it's not a hell yeah, then why even burn that hour or two a day on something that you don't even believe is going to have a high return on investment? You probably have close to, whether it's 10 or 15 years in the industry. Like with me, I'm a contractor, and I hop around jobs literally like every 3 to 4 months, right? And so for me, it's kind of a different story. Like, people need to see my work even though almost everything that I do is enterprise and not consumer based or commercial based, right? Meaning that everything that I work on for companies is intellectual property or proprietary. So, and I don't have a family, so I could do as much as I want without other people being disgruntled, you know, or tell me I'm a horrible father or a horrible partner, or whatever. I think your situation is different. So, like, if you don't believe in what you're doing with the utmost confidence that this is going to have multiple advantages regardless of if you make money or not, this is going to get you to the next level in some way, then I don't even think you should entertain it. I think you should progress towards something, but like time is precious and you don't get it back. So if you sincerely feel that this isn't really going to advance your money in regards to an additional stream of income, or it's not going to really, you're not going to really level up when it comes to skills, um, then like I think you should consider something else. I honestly don't think putting packages together is going to make you that much more valuable as a professional programmer. Yeah, you'll know way more about products, but you build video games already. So it's like I think you have a high level understanding of what it means to put together or assemble a product. Right. Oh,
Well, a little bit. I've done a little bit of that, not to this magnitude, but it's also some of it is about fun as well. I actually enjoy programming for the sake of programming and solving problems. Unfortunately, you get into web development, there's not a lot of actual problems that are interesting. It's just moving bits around and regurgitating them on the screen in certain ways, but I don't know. I have been at times very hell yes about this idea. It's just at other times I'm just like, maybe not, but maybe not. I think the problem is that the feedback loop has been really, really long on it, as far as, and I think that's true of just about anything. In order to keep motivation up, you have to have some sort of positive emotional feedback that keeps you interested in it. And if you don't have that, it's like you're doing it all off of willpower, and that's maybe where I've fallen flat on this thing, is just there's not any of that feedback. And so I'm just like, I gotta go and work on something else now.
Let's slightly change the subject. I know this sounds stupid. Is Calico like no longer exists? Like, what are the rules on taking systems in the past that are no longer in business?
Coleco, they actually had announced a new console like a couple 2-3 years ago, and then like they had a disastrous trade show where somebody like opened up the shell and found out it was like a Super Nintendo inside or something like that. I don't know. There's all these mythologies, but then that got kind of canceled. But yeah, the legalities. I mean, as far as printing goes, somebody somewhere owns the rights to print any sort of video game content, because we're still very, very much in the 75-year time range since video games first came on the scene. So in order to print stuff like that, legally, I think I'd have to pursue the copyright holders in each round, which is actually something we've thought about, because my brother-in-law owns a game store, and we've chatted about, he gets these older games and that are just loose, and some of them are some of them actually get to be fairly spendy. relatively, right? I mean, it's still a game. It's not going to be too much, but to have something to kind of provide that protects it that's similar to the original packaging, but definitely not the original packaging, because you don't want to miss characterize it. We talked about it, and really the legalities of it are the only thing that would stop that from probably going on.
Well, I was thinking about restoration. So you know how like cars with
Yeah.
like old guys, they restore a car,
Yeah.
and
There's
sometimes they might modernize it. Like, what if you take the shell of a Coleco or Atari or a Neo Geo? You take the shell of it and you still use the controllers, but inside the shell is still being powered by, I don't know, a PlayStation 4. I don't even know what number PlayStation is on right now.
no,
Or
they people do all that kind of stuff.
using
Right.
the same interface, using the same controllers for that given legacy system, but you're playing a modern video game.
Yeah. Usually it's done with like Raspberry Pis,
Okay.
because those older ones were very, very simple, like small games. So, but I mean, doing that to taking an old shell and modernizing it, like the I don't know what the form factor that's probably copyrighted, but or maybe even patented, but no, patents would probably have been out. But there's actually value in the shells themselves, because there's people who have these old systems and are trying to restore them or put them back into working order. And so by taking something and like modifying it to put something new in it, uh, it's more valuable to just leave it as junk probably, and try to sell it to somebody who has, I've got the motherboard and I've got a controller, whatever, and I need a shell and I need a this particular capacitor that they don't make anymore. Because this my brother-in-law has a game shop, and like he got an Atari Jaguar that doesn't work, and he had to go and find a particular little controller on it, going through junk Jaguar, posts and stuff, so he could make a working model that he could actually sell again. So with the games that he has, but
Sure why they didn't sell.
yeah, the Jaguar.
Yeah, I remember being at a video game store like when I was like probably like 10 or something. And I was playing, I think it was like Aliens vs. Predator or something.
Yeah.
And to me, the graphics were dope.
Yeah,
Just like I don't understand why Sega CD flopped. It was clearly better than the past generations, right?
yeah.
It was better than Super NES, but
It was PlayStation that did that I'm pretty sure. PlayStation took Sega's place in the world.
I think their default game that came with Sega CD was like, I don't know if it's called Tunnel Shark. It was called something Shark, where you're going through these tunnels really fast.
Yeah. But the console market's opening up again. There's a new Atari coming out eventually here. They're actually releasing a new Intellivision Amico in 2020, it looks like. So there's a lot of this stuff coming back into play. So that's the Intellivision Amico that's coming out.
All these are coming out because they see that Nintendo is still like, they have a piece of the market. Hold on, what is this?
Yeah, Atari's coming out with a new one. The Atari VCS. There's actually the most interesting one that's coming out is a handheld.
See, my friend, I'm on the page that you sent me, but I scrolled halfway down. I swear to God, that looks like wasn't the Coleco's like, or Atari? I don't know what the difference is. Didn't they have wood grain like controllers and shell?
Yeah, that's the Atari.
Okay, why does it say Intellivision?
Oh,
Instead of the
maybe.
television on the actual hardware. But I remember my friend, he had like everything was wood grain needs to come back.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's the original Intellivision. Yeah, yeah. The original Intellivision had the wood grain on it. Um, the new one obviously is like white and is different if you looked at the screenshots up. But yeah, yeah. Atari also had the wood grained one, and
With the like
um,
rotary on it.
yeah, actually, it looks like their new one is even going to have wood grain on the front of it. That second link I sent you.
Oh shoot! You send me a second link. Hold up.
Yeah, the Atari VCS.
Oh, it change this. Your dog's getting restless.
They're just scratching the ground to make their bed. You know how dogs do that sometimes.
Yeah, mine does that. I have no clue what she's doing.
But and then there's this handheld console called the Playdate, which isn't based on an old one, but that's coming out as well. So like console hardware is starting to make and game hardware is starting to make this Playdate one is really interesting. It has like it's got an actual like what do you call them? Like
It's taking forever for the page to load. Okay.
a crank. It has a crank on it. Like this Playdate. I've never seen a crank other than fishing games. I've never seen a crank as like a controller mechanism. I mean, it's going to be a lot of frickin' fishing games, I'm sure, going to come out for it. But
That's weird. I miss the Zapper. You remember the Nintendo Zapper?
the gun,
Yeah, and just pulling
Yeah.
the trigger would make like the coolest noise, regardless of it
Yeah.
being like you felt the spring action in it. I used to be a beast on Duck Hunt. Of course, I couldn't get past like level 14.
yeah, that's what's rough about the Zapper is that you can't use it on the whatever you can't use it on a normal LCD TV. You actually have to get an old school CRT for it to work.
Really?
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, because I can't remember if it used the scan lines. I might be mistaking that with so there was the Super Nintendo Scope too, which used a different mechanism. One of them used
that was too advanced.
one of them used the scan lines of a CRT. So like the CRT will blast an array of pixels line by line, and when you shot it, it would like measure your relationship to those pixels or something like that, and then that's how it would know where your position was on the screen. It was pretty wicked. But
I never knew that story. Those were the days, man.
yeah,
What color NES did you have? Did you have the brick orange and white, or did you have the gray and white?
gray and white. I didn't know there was a brick orange. And
Yeah, it was like a brick orangish. It was like an orangish color, and I would say orange and gray.
oh yeah, huh? Yeah, no, I had just the gray and purplish one, which I thought was all that they had in the States. But
Remember, it's putting the cartridge in, it wouldn't play. Pull the cartridge out. What was your ritual when you would blow in the cartridge? Everybody had a ritual.
you weren't supposed to do it, apparently. It's supposed to be bad for it, but yeah.
I would like blow up, blow down, shake it, and then blow in one corner at the bottom, blow in the top corner at the top, and then flick it and then put it back in again. Like, I miss those days.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
look, it's 8:30. I think I've took enough of your time.
Yeah, that's my drop dead time. So, all right. Well, man, for next week, I just got to figure out what the shit I'm doing. I don't know, man. Figure out what the hell yes is, I guess. I don't know.
Build something in new language. Like I have Blazor on my radar, and it's just I don't have time to do anything else.
Yeah.
I do. I just choose not to.
Yeah. Actually, my biggest excuse was I remodeled my pop-up camper this last weekend. Actually, I've still got to work on it, which kind of sucks because that takes up some of my time. But
I don't even know what a pop-up camper. I know what a camper is. I don't know what a pop-up camper is.
basically, like everything kind of encloses into this little like. I mean, it looks like like you're just pulling a trailer, and then basically you put the thing down, you unhitch it from your car. There's a crank, and the top of that trailer basically goes up, and then you pull out from the inside two sides, and then there's two beds on either side, and then there's a thing that pulls out in the back, and there's like some of them have this anyways, but it's basically like it all condenses down into a trailer, and then it pops out into a full camper. So yeah.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
I know. I'm sure if I visit the local trailer park, I'll see it.
Well, this is just for camping purposes.
When I was 14, my mother wanted to move into a trailer park in North Carolina, and I'm like, I refused. But
I tried to move into a trailer park in college.
how do you try? How are you not successful moving into a trailer park?
Well, because we were dependent on having somebody else with us, but the trailer park only allowed like one family up to 4, no pets or something like that. And so like we couldn't like afford it. Well, we didn't want to afford it without having some roommates. So that's kind of what happened.
I never thought a trailer park was the option for lodging when going to school.
Well, we thought about it because it's like, well, you can buy a trailer. It was like, I think it was like $15,000 or something for a trailer, and then you've got your monthly lot fees or whatever.
How much is that?
I don't even remember, a few $100 or something like that. So it ended up being between the mortgage because for the trailer, and then the thing, it would have been about as much as a decent apartment would be. But at the end of college, then we would have basically had enough time to pay off most of the trailer itself with our side jobs or whatever while we were going to school, which means we would be able to resell that when we actually moved away after it to some other person or whatever like that and recoup.
And this is up north?
Yeah, this was our plan anyways. But
what do you do during the winter? Like trailers have like heating solutions?
Yeah, like they're just like houses, but they're just trail. I don't know. What do trailer parks look like in your area?
I mean, I live in the South, so like you don't really have issues with being cold in the winter. Like I didn't think trailers had furnaces.
No, they've got furnaces and like, yeah, my great aunt lived in a trailer park for, gosh, I mean, most of her life probably. And, she had AC unit and heater, and I mean, you go there and it's a trailer, but it's basically a house. I mean, it's just a lot cheaper, and it's technically on wheels if you strip away the outside paneling. So, and obviously you need to have a tornado shelter, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Midwest. And parts of I would say Texas and all those other states down south.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you're far away from the ocean.
Yeah. But we don't have to worry about hurricanes, so.
It's once every 10 years. So.
All right. I got to run.
All right. Take care. Thanks again.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.